You're watching LA Ice Time. 7 years ago in the 2008-2009 season, the Pittsburgh Penguins record was 45, 28, and 17. The goal leader for the Pittsburgh Penguins that year was Evgeny Malkin with 35 goals, and Marc-Andre Fleury led the team with 35 wins in net. Tonight, 7 years later, the Pittsburgh Penguins are playing in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final against the San Jose Sharks. I don't even know how to express how exciting and the thrill I have for this game. I will personally be attending this game tonight, and it's going to be hyped. Just a quick pregame show. Make sure you tune in, watch the live stream, enjoy the pregame show. First things first I want to do here is, as a promise a few days ago, I want to give a shout out to my second semester health class with Mr. Ed Carr. Quick shout out there, wonderful class, and let's finish up the school year strong. But we're just going to get straight into the pregame show. The Penguins, the first time in 7 years, playing in the Stanley Cup Final tonight. San Jose Sharks, no doubt that Matt Murray's going to be in net. I mean, you could pretty much just guarantee it. Solid goaltender. After he got the start in Game 6, they decided to guarantee he'll be starting this series. San Jose with a great team this year. They're coming off a big win against the San Jose Blues. Sorry. The St. Louis Blues. Sorry about that. They are a good team. I personally thought the Blues were going to make it to the Stanley Cup. You saw in that one live stream I was saying I think the Blues have a better franchise and they can do it. But San Jose Sharks coming in there strong. Definitely going to be a great series. And, you know, we're going to hope for a big Penguins win. I did the live stream a little bit earlier this time because I will be attending the game tonight. It's going to be good. I'll take some videos on my phone, maybe see some stuff on LA Ice Time. Levi Hutch, co-owner of LA Ice Time, is not with us today. His Wi-Fi is down, and I just put together a quick pre-game analysis. Facebook notification if you heard that. I just put up a quick pre-game analysis. Up late last night discussing LA Ice Time. We're having a little board meeting, having some good time with some friends, playing some NHL, kicking back. It seems like no one could really touch me and Levi at NHL at the party. It was a great time. Happy Sweet 16 to Levi Hutch. Make sure you give him a shout out there. So tonight is the night where it's gonna happen. The series is going to be set down here. We're going to know tonight whether we're going to have a low-scoring series, a high-scoring series, fights, a lot of penalties, no fights, no penalties. See how people play. And really, the only 4 players I can name that were on the Stanley Cup roster in 2009 that are still on the team now is Marc-Andre Fleury, Evgeny Malkin, Sidney Crosby, and Chris Letang, and 5, Chris Kunitz was on that line. They all have a cup win. A couple years prior to the 2009 season, Chris Kunitz won the Stanley Cup with Anaheim in one of his first few seasons in the NHL. So you really only got, you got some, solid players that have played in Stanley Cups before, but now you don't know how some of these guys are going to play. How about that HBK line? Phil Kessel only making the playoffs about 3 to 4 times in his career at Toronto because it wasn't the best career there. He came to Pittsburgh, and he's our leading goal scorer in the playoffs. He's a great player. I'm glad to see him in there. Cheeseburger, Fat Phil, whatever you want to call him, but he's getting the job done in the NHL with the Pittsburgh Penguins, and he might even just get a Stanley Cup ring this year. Like I was saying, you don't know how these guys are going to do. How's Matt Murray going to do? Is he going to choke in the playoffs? In the Stanley Cup, you don't know. I feel like you know, once before you start the game, you got the nerves, but once when you get 5 minutes into the game, you just realize it's just the game. Nothing's changed. I feel like Game 7, I was in attendance for Game 7 of the Eastern Conference Final against the Tampa Bay Lightning. We ended up winning that game 2-1. Very hyped. The building was electric. You know, the other yellow out. It's always yellow out whenever the Penguins decided to wear their 91-92 home jerseys, which are now their alternates. They announced before the playoffs that they will be wearing those jerseys, and they'll be wearing them tonight. The yellow outs, but the building was really hyped. And one thing I want to say about the Pittsburgh Penguins in that game is that they only let them get 17 shots the whole game. There was so many block shots. The Penguins defense was incredible. Now, we had the lead 1-0, and Tampa Bay later tied the game. And 30 seconds later, Brian Russ with his second and an unbelievable goal. Just barely got it in the wickets. I have no idea. I believe the hockey gods gave us that one because I think they know it's our year. You know, you never know what those hockey gods are going to do to you, right? And we had about 2 minutes left in the game. It was pretty much, I was worried because it was all Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay was just rushing us the whole time, and I was afraid they were going to get a lucky bounce, but Matt Murray pulled out clutch, and he is a great goaltender. Glad to see he is he's just pulling through in the playoffs for the Penguins, because, you know, Fleury has been known to choke in the playoffs. And I know you heard a couple live streams ago that, you know, I am a Matt Murray fan. I support Murray in starting, and now I think we all know, no matter how many games this goes, that Matt Murray is going to start. No question about it. Got 2 people watching. Thanks for you know, put some stuff in the comments. Let us know. Again, if you're watching that, you're watching this in second period health class, second semester, Mr. Ed Carr. Let's go, Pens. If you're watching it, I'm probably a little bit tired because I'm going to be out late tonight with the Pens game. But one discussion, what I was saying earlier, is you don't know how these guys are going to do. If you think about it, you know, Crosby and Kunitz play on the same line together, and that's 2 players right there that were on the old 2008-2009 roster when they won the Stanley Cup. Evgeny Malkin's got his own line out there, and Chris Letang. So you have about 2 offensive lines. 2 offensive lines and 2 defensive lines that have never, you know, played together in a Stanley Cup game like this. But I personally, I don't know how this series is going to go. San Jose is a great team, and the regular season, the Penguins split the series 1-1 with San Jose. Overall, San Jose is a great team, and you're a great team no matter what you do. But when you're in the Stanley Cup, it's for real, and they're just, I'm just so excited for this game tonight. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Just remember, you're watching LA Ice Time. Put a subscribe in there. Watch it, you know, kick back, relax, and listen to the pregame show. We got 3 people watching. That's wonderful. That's great. Glad to see you post some stuff in the comments. Listen to the pregame, you know. Tonight, in Game 1, I know the building's going to be electric. I mean, the first time a Consol Energy Center Stanley Cup final game is being played. Last one was in Mellon Arena, and the Penguins, I feel, I've never seen, you know, these us Pittsburghers get along so well. I stayed for the whole game in the Game 7 Eastern Conference Final and watched them, you know, touch the Prince of Wales trophy, which I am against, but last time they touched it, they won. When they didn't touch it, they lost. But anyway, so I watched them, you know, touch the Prince of Wales trophy, and I left, and the fans were so electric. You know, whoa, you know, let's go Pats. That's what I'm talking about. You know, that's why we played the game. That's why we watched the game. And Penguins fans, Pittsburgh has been coming together with this hockey team. I mean, you know, us Pittsburgh, we don't have much. We don't have a beach. We don't have hot babes roller skating around the parks. You know, we got our sports teams. Okay, I mean, Hockey was invented 4 hours north in Canada. Football was invented 2 hours west in Canton, Ohio. And you know, with the baseball team, you know, making the playoffs the past 3 years after 20 years in the drought, the Steelers going in the second round of the playoffs, winning a playoff game for the first time in a few years, and now the Penguins making it to the Stanley Cup. And I do still feel that the Penguins are the hottest team in the NHL. I mean, if you think about a month left in the season, we're struggling to get that last playoff spot. And then we just build so much that we're second in the Metropolitan Division. And, you know, that home ice advantage in the Eastern Conference Final really helped us. Because us Pittsburgh sports teams have trouble winning clutch games on the road. I know we won Game 6, okay, that was good. But if you look at the Pittsburgh Pirates, the first year we made it to the playoffs in 20 years, they played Game 5 in St. Louis, and they ended up losing. We have a history of losing on the road. I believe Game 7, they said on the Jumbotron that Mike Sullivan's quote was before the game was that, you know the building's going to be electric and we're going to use that as an extra man tonight. And it was. I believe we were in the Tampa Bay Lightning's head. Anyway, to you guys watching, you know, come on, get up here, relax, and watch some LA Ice Time. You know, I mean, come on, it's practically Christmas Day, Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, we're guaranteed 4 games. Let's go. I mean, oh, man. If the Penguins win the Stanley Cup, I mean, when we won Game 7 of that, I was the happiest man in the world. I'm just, man, like, let's go. I can't believe it. Because, you know, I started watching hockey, my first year watching hockey. I wasn't a big hockey fan at first. You know, my mom took me to a game, and I'm like, wow, you know, this is awesome. And, you know, I started watching that year we played Tampa Bay in the first round and lost in Game 7 at home, 1-0. I mean, that was rough. I did not attend that game. I am a Pittsburgh Penguins season ticket holder. I just want to let you know that the tickets today, we have 4 seats. We sold 2, and both tickets went for $280, which was I mean, it's expensive. You know, everyone wants to watch the Pittsburgh Penguins, and you know, I had a couple buddies looking down for tickets in San Jose, you know, trying to go to a game, and the cheapest ticket there is around $700. I mean, who knows what it's like, you know, that box seats or sit on the glass. But we're up top in our seats. That's all I'm going to say about that. Up top, but wonderful view. You know, you can't complain when you're watching the Pittsburgh Penguins in the Stanley Cup playoffs, I'll tell you that. Where are you sitting, Jacob? That's confidential where I'm sitting, Jacob. Sorry. But one thing that scares me about this series is, and it will scare every team going into a new series in the playoffs, is getting swept, okay? So I know each game of this series is going to be close. And when each game is close, you know, one team can pull it off, you know, just pull it off every night. And who knows? Maybe this is the Penguins' last 4 games of the season. Maybe it's not. I mean, maybe it will be a sweep. No matter what, but 30 teams started in this season. 16 made it to the playoffs, and now we're down to the final 2. And us Pittsburghers can say that we were in the Stanley Cup Finals. The World Championship of Hockey in Pittsburgh is in it, and that is just incredible to say. I am happy to be a Pittsburgh Penguin fan. And you know, maybe some of those people living in Toronto are saying, oh, I'm a Penguin fan, you know, because they're in the Stanley Cup playoffs. No, I mean, I've been watching hockey for the better half of you know, 5 or 6 years here. I mean, I know a lot of people can say, you know, that they've been 60 years Penguin fans since they started. And now that you can say that you stuck it out when we watch those seasons where we lose, and yeah, I cry every year when we get eliminated, but Tonight is our night. We're going to win it. Just remember that you're watching LA Ice Time, and true Pittsburgh Penguin fan here, getting ready to go to Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. It's going to be electric. Just walking in there and see on the blue line that Stanley Cup Final. Like, that is amazing. If you are a Pittsburgh fan and you live in the Pittsburgh area, just remember you can always go out to see the big screen out there by Consol Energy Center. You know, a lot of people go, so you might want to get there early. I know they usually have maybe 1,000 or 2 in attendance to watch it, even more. I mean, I've never went on that side of it. I never really cared to go down there and watch it because I go to most of the games. Not all the games, but I just don't really care to, watch it. But hey, if you're into there, I mean, go see it, because it's basically the same as watching the game. I mean, anytime you're watching the game with 1,000 people, it's awesome, right? V. Lecky, have a great game. Have a great time, sorry. Oh, well, thank you, V. Lecky. I appreciate it. How about, we got 3 people watching. Why don't we get predictions, okay? Jacob, V. Lecky, tell me what you're thinking about today. What's going to be the final score tonight? And what's going to be the final of the series? Go ahead, post your comments in real quick. Personally, I think you're going to see a 3-1. No, let me tell you this first. The second hockey game I ever went to was against the San Jose Sharks. And we lost 2-1 in overtime. Brent Johnson started in net that game. And we were in overtime, and he thought he was laying on the puck, but he wasn't. I believe it was Joe Thornton that just got it and took a top shelf, and we ended up losing 2-1. I guarantee that this game's going to be close. But I'm going to say 3-1 win Pittsburgh Penguins. And I'm going to say Pens in 6. But whatever, any series that goes to 6 games, one more win for the other team, and you can go to Game 7, which it just nerve-wracks me. I just wish it was one game we could win it or go home in Game 7. Game 7 was hyped of the Eastern Conference Final. They, had a good light show in there, and just wonderful. And just seeing them, 3-2-1, we won. Like, we're going to the Stanley Cup. That is amazing to see. I mean, B. Lecky says 2-1 Pens today, and I don't know about the series. Well, V. Lecky, you think the Penguins are going to win the series? I mean, let me know. Come on, man. You got to say something. I mean, this is the pregame of Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, come on, what do you think, bud? Jacob, tonight, 3-1 Pens. Series 4-3 Pens in 7 games. I want them to clinch on home ice. They never have. 7 games, Jacob. Wow. Like, that is crazy. 7 games. I mean, that's going to be hyped. What do you think the final score of that Game 7 is going to be? I mean, just put it out there. I know it's far away, but tell me about it. I mean, these 7 games, I'm scared if we go to 7 games. I just want to put that out there. But, come on, tune in, guys. I'm going to start, I think we can win it. That's all the words that you need to say is, I think we can win it. What was it, 2004 of the World Series? No, it was the ALCS, American League Conference Series. Championship Series, sorry. It was the first time in MLB history where a team was down 3-0 in the playoffs and ended up winning the series. And it was the New York Yankees and the Boston Red Sox. Okay. And the Boston Red Sox were down 3-0 in the series, okay? They came back and they won Game 4. Each game they won was a comeback, except for Game 7. 2-1 Pens in overtime. Nothing more new. Nothing more nerve-wracking than that. Yeah, right, Jacob? Anyway, so the Boston Red Sox, they came back and won Game 4 of that series and made it 3-1. And their slogan was, the rest of that series was, why not us? And that's what I'm saying about the Pittsburgh Penguins. Why not us? I mean, they ended up winning the series 7 games. And this is one of those moments that you don't know how history's going to play out. Those of you that are watching right now, I just want you to take a moment and think about what's really here. We don't know what's going to happen. Game 1 of the Stanley Cup Finals in 2016. The Penguins haven't gone in 7 years, and the San Jose Sharks have never been there. This is our time. I'm going to close it up here. Just remember that you're watching LA Ice Time. And those of you that are in that second period health class with me, turn in your permission slips. Okay? Remember what Mr. Carr says. Your life's going to be much easier if you just turn in those permission slips. So, thank you, and enjoy the game, and let's go Pens. Alex Vajaka, co-owner of LA Ice Time, signing off. Have a great night.